New Trump administration plan could end asylum claims and speed deportations for hundreds of thousands of migrants. In a dramatic escalation of its immigration agenda, the Trump administration is preparing to implement a sweeping policy that could terminate asylum claims for hundreds of thousands of migrants and place them on an accelerated path to deportation. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. The Trump administration is planning to dismiss asylum claims for potentially hundreds of thousands of migrants in the United States, and then make them immediately deportable as part of the president's sweeping immigration crackdown. According to two sources familiar with the matter, it marks the latest in a series of moves by the administration to bar migrants from receiving protections in the U.S. As federal authorities come under pressure to deliver historic immigration arrest numbers, administration officials have quietly been working on efforts to make more people eligible for removal. The people being targeted in this case are those who entered the U.S. unlawfully and later applied for asylum, the sources said. Their cases are expected to be closed, therefore leaving them at risk of deportation. It could affect hundreds of thousands of asylum applicants. Over the last decade, the majority of applicants who applied for asylum with U.S. citizenship and immigration services self-reported how they entered the U.S., with around 25% saying they entered the U.S. unlawfully. That amounts to at least 250,000 people, according to a federal report analyzing asylees in 2023. The others entered legally via port of entry through various visas. Under U.S. law, people who are seeking protection from violence or persecution in their home country can claim asylum to remain in the United States. Trump effectively sealed off access to claiming asylum at the U.S. southern border upon taking office. There are currently around 1.45 million people with pending affirmative asylum applications, federal data shows. People who are not in deportation proceedings can apply for affirmative asylum through USCIS. USCIS, which falls under the Department of Homeland Security and is responsible for managing federal immigration benefits, has also been delegated the authority by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem to place those individuals in fast-track deportation proceedings, as well as take additional actions to enforce civil and criminal violations of the immigration laws. That marks an unprecedented departure from decades-long protocol for USCIS. In a statement to CNN, USCIS spokesperson Matthew Trugesser said the agency had nothing to announce at this time. USCIS' top priority remains the screening and vetting of all aliens seeking to come live or work in the United States. President Trump and Secretary Noem have given USCIS the ability to use all tools in our toolbox to ensure that the integrity of the immigration system is upheld, fraud is uncovered and expeditiously addressed, and illegal aliens are removed from the country, added. Typically, USCIS can turn people over to immigration and customs enforcement for the next stages of the immigration process if they determine they're not eligible for relief in the United States. Enforcement actions, like ordering someone to be quickly removed, have generally fallen under the authority of IC and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Experts and advocates warn that placing USCIS at the center of the president's deportation campaign is likely to have a chilling effect to those trying to obtain relief and remain in the United States. They're turning the agency that we think of as providing immigration benefits as an enforcement arm for IC, said Sarah Mehta, Deputy Director of Government Affairs for the American Civil Liberties Union's Equality Division. Migrants who have their cases dismissed under the administration's new plan will be subject to expedited removal. That fast-track deportation procedure allows immigration authorities to remove an individual without a hearing before an immigration judge. Trump officials expanded fast-track deportations earlier this year to include undocumented immigrants anywhere in the U.S. who cannot prove they've lived in the U.S. continuously for 2 years or more. The administration also previously told immigration judges they should dismiss legally deficient asylum cases without holding a hearing. Some migrants who have lived and worked in the U.S. for years have already received notices of their asylum applications being dismissed without a determination, according to a notice. It's unclear how many people have received the notice of dismissal. The Trump administration has targeted multiple programs designed to temporarily protect migrants in the United States, and in some cases has terminated those protections. But it's unusual for USCIS to accept an application and then abruptly dismiss it. Our union opposes any policy that violates basic rights guaranteed to asylum seekers by U.S. and international law. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, an alien has a right to apply for asylum and have due process in their pursuit the same whether or not they arrived at a designated port of entry, irrespective of their immigration status, said Michael Knowles, Executive Vice President of the American Federation of Government Employees, Council 119, which represents USCIS employees in a statement. The asylum process is also different because it provides a long-term solution for applicants and serves as a path to U.S. citizenship, even for people who enter the country illegally. The government should process asylum applications, not throw them out. Every asylum seeker should have an opportunity to have their asylum case processed. These are immigrants who have been in the U.S. working legally for years and are contributing to local communities throughout the country, said Conchita Cruz, co-executive director of Asylum Seeker Advocacy Project. Dismissing their asylum cases will hurt them, their families, employers, and communities that rely on them. As this controversial policy takes shape, legal experts, immigrant advocates, and even government employees are raising alarms over its implications for due process and human rights. If implemented, it would mark a significant shift in U.S. asylum policy, with long-term consequences for migrants, their families, and the communities they become part of across the nation. That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
New Trump administration plan could end asylum claims and speed deportation for hundreds of thousands of migrants. The Trump administration is advancing a policy to dismiss asylum claims of potentially hundreds of thousands of migrants who entered the U.S. unlawfully and later applied for asylum, rendering them immediately deportable. This aggressive move, part of Trump's broader immigration crackdown, targets over a quarter million individuals, many of whom entered illegally and self-reported their status. With above 1.45 million pending affirmative asylum cases, the administration aims to fast-track deportation via USCIS, which has now been empowered to initiate, remove, and enforce immigration laws and shift from its traditional benefits-focused role. Critics warn this will create a chilling effect on asylum seekers and violate due process rights. Advocacy groups and even USCIS union officials have voiced concern, stressing that asylum seekers deserve legal review and protection under US and international law. The plan could disrupt a lease of long-time residents contributing to local communities, with experts alarmed by USCIS new enforcement powers historically reserved for ICE and Border Patrol.